The subject of martial arts is broad, and it's not without plenty of opinions, debates, and discussions, but it's interesting nonetheless. In this video, I want to talk about 3 terrible things that people believe about martial arts that they must unlearn if they're going to grow. Stick around. Some of these things I'm going to cover in this video may seem obvious, but I don't believe it is. I believe people still hold tight to these ideas based on the things they say to me. I don't come as the expert in martial arts. I come as a student and someone with a platform who simply likes to share his point of view with hopes that it may help someone. Getting into a martial art or different martial arts can change a person's life. It can do wonders for that individual. It has done wonders for my life, but there's a lot of pitfalls that we can fall into and false ideas that we can buy into. The evidence as to the fact that people really believe the things that I'm going to address in this video comes down to the things that they say. I could show you a myriad of comments that validate everything I'm going to say here. The first idea we have to abandon is that martial arts in and of themselves will take somebody who's not a fighter and make them a fighter all of a sudden. There's a lot that goes with fighting, and it doesn't just come down to adding a martial art to your schedule, because there's a lot of people out here taking martial arts that don't have fight in them. They don't have that killer instinct in them. And if you take someone like that doesn't have that ability, that instinct, and that physicality, and you just stack a martial arts training course on top of that, that in and of itself is not going to fix them. This is something I would have had trouble admitting when I first got into martial arts, because I wanted to believe that it was just going to turn me into this combative giant, just because I had the knowledge. But the truth is, there are a myriad of individuals out here, savages out on the street who have never taken one martial arts class, who would trash a great number of lifelong martial arts students out on the street. So what I'm saying is that martial arts can absolutely help, and they will give you skills, but the martial art in and of itself is not what's going to make you a complete fighter. There also has to be some savagery, some killer instinct, and natural fighting ability on the inside of you. Some people just can't fight. It's just a simple fact. Some people can't fight, and you can teach them all the martial arts in the world, they'll still get beat up. Number 2, being a martial artist does not guarantee you victory over the street fighter. A lot of people who get into martial arts have a sense of superiority. Well, he's a street fighter, he can't take me. Yes, sometimes he can. Sometimes the street fighter who knows nothing can, again, trash the martial artist. I covered it in the last point. A lot of people have this idea that if they get into a martial art, they're going to be superior over your average person out here. And I think that's a wrong way to think. I think we need to go out on the streets and have a respect for everyone. We need to assume everyone is dangerous, that everyone is formidable, that everyone could be a problem. We never want to adopt this idea that just because we're a martial arts student, then we're going to prevail in every situation, because there's a lot of people out there who will take your best shot and then take it to the ground and destroy you. For a lot of these people out on the street, this is what they do all the time. They're not in controlled environments where they have cooperative partners and rehearsed drills. When you're dealing with people out here on the street, you're dealing with dangerous people. Martial arts will help you learn technique, and it'll give you tools to help make you more successful, but it doesn't necessarily make you superior to that individual. We just have to remember, it seems silly that we have to remind people of this, but the real life is not the movies. People don't respond to pain in the real world like they do in the movies. In the movies, it's easy. Make a connection and they're done. In the real world, it's much harder. So does martial arts give you tools? Yes. Does it make you superior? No. This third point that I'm going to cover is probably going to be targeted toward a much smaller audience, because I think a lot of people watching already know this, but there is no magical, mystical formula in martial arts that's going to make up for a lack of skill and physicality. We've still got people buying into some of the craziest things going on in martial arts with some of these fake masters out here. I'm talking about no-touch knockdowns and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, I know it may seem silly, but you'd be surprised how many people fall for the craziest things in martial arts. And you'll see these crazy, unrealistic demonstrations being done in a martial arts studio, and they'll have students surrounding them, nodding their head, gleaning from it. It's almost like a lot of times certain martial arts instructors have the same charisma and deceptive ability as a cult leader. You'll have old men, who are feeble, walking around and just flipping one man after the next, just flipping them over by barely touching them. And there are people fascinated with it, believing it to be true. But the problem is every time these guys get tested against a real fighter, they just get taken down and beaten up. That's the real world. Of course, I believe things like a strong mind and strong belief are very important. There's just no fake magic formula to make up for a lack of real skill, toughness, physicality, and all those other things. So just to recap, number one, martial arts by itself, without fighting ability, without toughness, without savagery, without all of these other attributes, can't just turn a person into a fighter. Number two, being a martial artist doesn't always make us superior. We can train in martial arts our whole life and still get our butts kicked by somebody who's never walked in a gym one time. Number three, there's no mystical, magical formula that's going to make somebody a martial arts superpower. They still got to have skill, physicality, and all those other attributes. These fake martial arts systems might work on people who want to believe it's true, but the outsider who doesn't believe it will walk in there and walk right past all that and slap the dude right on the head. Just know that I'm not here to stir up an argument. I'm here to address common flaws in the thinking of certain individuals. And I also want to help those who are maybe new to all of this, because you know how it is when you get into martial arts. There's a lot of crazy things that you can believe that are not true. I'd love to hear from you if you relate to what I'm saying. Thanks for watching. Take care.